Yes. We still have 2 minutes. Then we will start, whether somebody comes or not. शिबी अंकल, आपके हेल्थ कैसा है अभी?
प्रभु की ग्रेस है।
अच्छा, ठीक है, बेटर। ओके, नरेश आ रही है।
नरेश आ रही है जी। ओम नमो नमाय गुरु नमः।
ओम नमो नारायणाय। आई नो
ओम नमो
नरेश आ
नारायण।
रही है। नमो
ओम नमो
नारायण।
नारायणाय। ओम नमो नारायणाय।
नारायणाय
ओम
गुरु
नमो
माँ जी प्रणाम।
नारायणाय। नमो
ओम नमो
नारायणाय।
नारायणाय। ओम
यस
हरि ओम
सुनीता,
हरि
नमो
ओम
नारायणाय।
नमो नारायण।
अच्छा, this is very interesting. Dev Saroj's iPhone, then Saroj Dev iPhone. अरे वाह। Saroj Dev, Dev Saroj. I like that.
How are you, Swamini ji?
I'm good. I'm in Rishikesh. I've moved
अच्छा,
into another ashram. And
okay.
it's so beautiful because from my window, I have this perfect view of, of the Ganga. I can just sit on the balcony, and today's class was all prepared on the balcony. So it's very inspiring, to do a Atmabodha class and you're watching Ganga. So little bit you do, and then you're just looking and you're meditating, and I'm really actually very happy. Conditional happiness. Today I put, do you need to fulfill any condition to be happy? It's a really great question, right? Okay. So I think we can start now. Yeah. So let me just
Yes.
make everybody mute. Yes, Ma.
Oh,
Bhatya
ओम
uncle.
नमो नारायण।
Namo Narayanaya. Okay. चलो हम शुरू कर देते हैं. We start with prayer. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punaha सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Om. So welcome to all of you. Yes, we have been having a lot of gaps and I'm sorry about that. But I hope, in future there'll be less gaps, we can't say. But anyway, let us hope and pray. So let's start with today and we'll start with reading some of the verses. Okay. I put this, little brief thing here just to drive home the point. Atmano Vikri. So we are starting at verse number 25. Okay, just the reading. Atmano Vikriya Nasti Buddhir Bodho na Jatviti Jiva Sarvamalam Gnatva Gnata Drishteti Muhyati. So basically the idea is Atma is changeless consciousness. Rajju sarpavadaatmanam jivam jnatva bhayam vahet naham jiva paratmete jnatas nirbhayo bhavet. And basically what they are saying is that knowledge of yourself will free you from suffering. If you take yourself to be a limited individual, you are going to be full of suffering. Okay. आत्मावभासयत्येको बुद्ध्यादीनिन्द्रियाणि हि दीपो घटादिवत् स्वात्मा जडैस्तेनावभास्यते. So here also it's being said that Atma is totally independent, it is Swaprakasha. It need not be illumined by anything because it is self-revealing. Same idea is there in the next verse. Swabodhe nanya bodhe cha bodha rupatayatmanaha nadipasyan yadipecha yatha swatma prakashane. So Atma is Swaprakasha. It doesn't require anything else to light it up. It lights itself up. Okay? निषिद्य निखिलोपाधि नेति नेतीति वाक्यतः विद्यादैक्य महावाक्य जीवात्मा परमात्मनोः. So this is a very beautiful verse which is telling you something very important about Atmajnanam. Nishidya nikhilopadhi. So all the upadhis, which are the upadhis to which, upadhis because of which we make a lot of conclusions about ourselves, our body, our mind, our senses. So they are saying all these upadhis, they cause you to make wrong conclusion about yourself. Therefore, negate the upadhis on the basis of what that is given in the next verse, on the basis of Shastric statement that no, this is not Atma, this is not Atma. Okay? And then with the help of the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, like that, these Mahavakyas are there. On the basis of that Mahavakya, may you be able to recognize what your true nature is. When we say true nature, we mean the nature of yourself which can never change. There is something about us that never changes. So what is it that about us which doesn't change? Avidyakam shariradi drishyam buddhavatsharam etad vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. So he's saying, on what basis you're going to negate? You're going to recognize that body, mind, okay, senses, this whole complex, they are all objects. They are drishyam. Not only that, they are all anityam. So drishyam and anityam is the reason because of which you will negate them. Iti. And then having negated them, etad vilakshanam vidyat, may you recognize that you are different from, you are separate from, you're independent from. Okay? All of these. Who are you? Aham brahmeti nirmalam. I am Brahma iti and I am Nirmalam. In me, I'm totally free of these, okay, and their problems. Iti. Then starts all these Nididhyasana verses. Dehan Dehanyatvatna me janma jara kashi layadayaha shabdadi vishaye sango nirindriyataya nacha. So here we are starting the Nididhyasana verses. We will see this thing. I'll come back to this a little. So what happens in the Nididhyasana verses? So I'm going to put Nididhyasana in the right context. In the main sadhana of Vedanta, what is the main sadhana of Vedanta? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. It is taken for granted, that the sadhana chatushtaya we already have. We have already done our, antakarana shuddhi bit, and then the Vedanta sadhana is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. And as we saw in our previous classes, when we are doing this kind of listening to Shastra, what we are mainly doing is Shravana and Manana. So what is Shravana? We have seen that it is a process of self-inquiry which is guided by these teachings. And what is it going to give us? It is going to give us Jnana. I'm not going to call it enlightenment. I will just say it gives us knowledge, it gives us Jnanam. Because I won't call it enlightenment, because the knowledge which we get by listening, if Antakarna Shuddhi is complete, then of course it is enlightenment. But if it is not complete, then what happens? There are obstacles. We do know. All of us will say, yes, I know, that Atma is separate from the body. I know that Atma is Avinashi, I know that. But it is not yet my knowledge. That means some obstacles are there. Obstacles are called as pratibandhas. So sab pratibandhaka jnanam we have. And one of the pratibandhas is what? It is doubt, samshaya. Because what happens as we keep listening, our intellect is digging and poking and looking, it's normal, it's okay. But we have doubts, and we should be able to handle those doubts. So when the doubts arise, they become obstacles for us to enjoy the fruit of this knowledge. And so to enjoy and appreciate the result of this knowledge, all the obstacles, the pratibandha should be removed. So for that, we have the process of manana. Doubt or samshaya, we have the process of manana. Let me put you all up, So I keep looking down on my screen in a thread at the bottom. Okay. Then doubt is one kind of obstacle. Another kind of obstacle is what we called as viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana is viparita means that which is contrary or that which is opposed. Bhavana is feeling. So a feeling that is contrary to what? To the knowledge that I have. Okay? A feeling that is contrary to what I have been listening to, what I have gained through the process of listening. So what is our feeling? Our feeling is that I am this physical body. We all have this habitual feeling that I am an embodied person, some lingering feel, I am a biological entity. We have some lingering feelings. So then Shastra talks about the practice of nididhyasana to take care of the viparita bhavana. So practice of nididhyasana is meant to remove this kind of viparita bhavana. Okay. So summarizing again, Shravana is the process of self-inquiry using these teachings, and it is going to lead to knowledge, but that knowledge is going to have obstructions in it, and these obstacles are going to prevent you from appreciating and enjoying the result of this knowledge. Okay, so we engaged in mananam to remove the doubts, and then finally we engage in viparita bhavana to remove the habitual error that we have, or the habitual thinking, the habitual patterns of taking ourselves to be the body mind sense complex. Okay, so with that context, let us look at now I'll have to put you on the side. Okay, let me see where I'll put you on. देहान्यत्वान्न मे जन्म जरा काशलयादयः शब्दादि विषयै संगो निरिन्द्रियतया न च. Nididhyasana verses have started at this point. So Nididhyasana is interesting because in Nididhyasana, what happens? Let me go ahead. What happens is we are going to, it is not a new teaching. Nididhyasana is simply contemplating upon what I have already understood or recognized. Okay, so there's no new teaching there. उसको बस मन में फिर से ले आना है और उसको बार बार देखना है. तो इधर क्या बोला है? That I am other than the body. Therefore, all the changes such as birth, etc., are not there in me. But basically, it is saying that Atma is independent of body, mind, senses. Even the next verse. So, body and senses are taken in this verse, number 31. And in the next verse, we will have Amanastvatna me dukkha raga dvesha bhayadayaha aprano hyamana shubhra ityadi shuti shasana. So here it's saying, earlier it said, I am not body, I am not senses. Now it's saying, I am not the mind. And because I am not the mind, look at that. Because I am not the mind, I am free from sorrow. I'm free from attachment. So now it's very interesting. Who has got sorrow and who has got attachment? The one who has sorrow is the one who is identified with the body, right? Atma doesn't have sorrow. Consciousness is totally free of dukkha. Ahankara, the one who says, I am this. What? This means what? I am this body. The one who says, I am the senses, I am the mind. That is called as ahamkara. Ahamkara. It is calling out, I am this, I am this, I am this. That person, the ahankara, is the one who has got this dukkha, this attachment, etc. is all there for ahamkara, not for atma. Atma is free, iti. So that is what was told here, that amanastvat. I am not the mind, and therefore I am free of dukkha. I am free of ragadvesha. Can you believe? इतना मीन्स वेदांत इतनी भार देती है कि रागद्वेष की ये करो, रागद्वेष को निकालो, रागद्वेष को के ऊपर gain some mastery over it. So Vedanta is addressing the ahankara when it is saying that. Antakarana shuddhi is for the person who is identified with the body, for the ahankara. But what about atma, the aham? The aham is consciousness that is always free. Aprano hyamana shubra. And Shruti statements are there like that. Shruti statement is there saying apranaha. Atma is apranaha. It is free of the breath, free of prana. He amanaha. It is free of mind. It is shubbraha. It is pure. Iti. These are all the Upanishadic statements. Many statements are there like that. Iti. And then we go on to Nididhyasana statement. Nirguno nishkriya nityo nirvikalpo niranjanaha nirvikaro nirakaro nityamukto'smi nirmalaha. Wow. So the consciousness that I am, what Shastra is pointing out, is nirgunaha. It doesn't have any guna. Iti. Nirgunaha. Free of all attributes. Nishkriyaha. It is free of all action. Actionless. It is that which is always there. Nityaha. Never subject to destruction. Iti. Always present. Iti. Nirvikalpaha. Okay. That in which there is no division of thought. If thought is there, then there is a division of the thinker, the thinking, the thought, the object of the thought. This kind of division is not there. Nirvikalpaha. You know, here in Dehradun, this is just aside, I met a person who calls himself Nirvikalpananda. He's a Bengali. So not Vikalpananda, Nirvikalpananda. Eh? So I'm free of all this thoughts. And then Niranjana, free of all mala, free of all dirt. Okay. Nirvikaraha, look at that. Free of all vikara. In one in which there is no vikara, there is no modification, there is no change at all. Nirakaraha, that which is free of all form. Okay. And Nityamuktaha, which is always free, which was never bound. Who is bound? Ahankara is bound. Is Aham, the self-revealing consciousness, bound? Aham, self-revealing consciousness, is never bound. Iti. And therefore I am Nirmalaha. Okay? I'm free of all dirt, free of ragadvesha, free of dirt. Iti. And now, where is my mouse? Okay. So, just before we launch into our next verse, what is Nididhyasana? Nididhyasana is contemplation on a truth which is already recognized, at least understood conceptually. Okay? I would say recognized, in which the job of Shravana and Manana is actually over. Iti. You have recognized or you have understood that your self is pure consciousness, and you have heard again and again and understood the logic that self is changeless. Unless there is a changeless self, how to know all the changes? Iti. You have understood that self is all pervading. It is free of all that is objectified, free of all limits. You have understood this. I found, I'll tell you later about a person I met here. So, Nididhyasana, it is again, I'm repeating, a process of removing our old conditioning. We have got a lot of old conditioning, yeah, a lot of habitual thinking. And so, Nididhyasana is the process of removing that habitual thinking. And why is it required? Because we have got deep rooted samskara of taking ourselves to be the body mind. Okay. So I just wrote this today. I'm very inspired here being at Ganga. This is okay. This is the same as earlier. You are the consciousness that illumines, that reveals, that pervades, that enlivens. Now, when I say in second person you, immediately in your mind, you can convert it into I. I am the consciousness that illumines, that reveals, that pervades, that enlivens. And you don't need to fulfill any condition to be yourself. What is yourself? Yourself is pure, infinite, changeless, nameless consciousness, which is always existent. So consciousness, existence, now and always. So you don't need a thought to be there. You are there before the thought. You don't need feelings to be there. You are there before your feelings. You don't need sensations. You don't need memories. You don't need your historical ahankara. You don't need anything to be yourself. Okay? You are first, then everything else is. Vedanta starts with that premise. So let's look at our new verse. Aham akashavat sarvam bahir antargatochyuta sada sarva samasiddho nisango nirmalo chalaha. Very beautiful verses. Okay. Aham akashavat sarvam bahir antargatochyutaha. Aham akashavat sarvam. Like space, I feel all things. I am there in and through everything, warp and woof. I am in the jagat. I am in here in this body, in and through this body, and I am outside also, meaning all pervading. Bahir antargatas, and then I am achyuta. I'm changeless. There's no change in me. Sada sarva sama. Such a beautiful thing. Sada sarva sama. Always I am the same. Sada sarva sama siddhaha. Siddhaya means I'm perfect, I'm whole, I'm limitless, I'm complete, I'm full. Nisangaha. I'm unattached. No sangha. We'll look at all this in detail. And nirmalaha and achalaha. Nirmalaha, free of all dirt. Achalaha, motionless. Okay? Iti. So look at this. Aham. Aham means what? First person. Me. I. The first person. So it's a first person pronoun. And we are going to see this first person pronoun verse after verse. Because these are all Nididhyasana verses. In the earlier verse, what did we have? Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. Nirguno, Nishkriyo, Nityo, Nirvikalpo, Niranjanaha. All negation, correct? Whenever that ni is coming, ni means it is negating. There are a lot of negations over there. So negation began in verse number 33. And it's going to continue in verse number 34. So I am going, oh, Yeah. Okay. So here it is saying Nissangaha, free from Sangaha. That means what? Free from attachment. What does that mean? Unattached. That means Aham is consciousness. I am consciousness, which is free from relationship. Then who is related? Ahamkara is related. Consciousness is free from all relationship. Okay? And freedom from relationship, what does it mean really? It means this, consciousness is not affected. It is only the related person, the related being who is affected. So consciousness being Satya, being Satyam, being independent of the body and mind, naturally, it is unrelated. Iti. No Sangha, no connection, no relationship, no real relationship. Let's put it like that. There is a projected relationship, no real relationship with the body and mind. So the body and mind are just appearances in the changeless Atma. Because of Maya Shakti, we are seeing them. Iti. But in reality, in Atma, there is no Sangha. Okay? Okay. So, this is not a teaching right now. This is only contemplation on truth that has already been understood during Shravana. So now if there's no relationship to the body and mind, then the problems of the body and mind belong to body and mind. So Nissanga means independent, that which is detached. So consciousness by its very nature, you don't have to do anything to be detached. Not that you have to leave your family, ये सब को छोड़ो और भागो, संन्यास ले लो, ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. By its swarupa, by its very nature, just like the crystal. You remember our example of the crystal? Let me see if I can stop the share. So you remember the example of the crystal. Now the crystal is so clear. I don't have a crystal with me. But when the crystal is put next to the cloth, okay, then the crystal looks like it's orange. But is it really orange? The crystal is totally clear, doesn't have any orange in it whatsoever. Even when it looked like it was orange, it was free of being orange. It looked like it had orange in it. But even when it was looking like it had orange in it, it was completely free of being orange. It was just crystal clear. In the same way, consciousness also looks like it is connected to the body, connected to the mind. But remember, consciousness is completely changeless. And so, consciousness has no real connection. Okay? There is only an appearance of a connection to the body and mind. And now, because it is independent, it is unaffected, always unaffected, iti. And therefore, it is nirmala. Okay, let's go back to the verse. Look at that. Where did nirmala? Okay, nirmala here. We're taking the negating words first. Nirmala. Nissangaha, nirmalaha. Nirmala had come in the previous verse also. And Nishkriya had come in the previous verse, which is the same as Achala. Achala means motionless, which means Nishkriya, no action in it. Iti. So it looks like it's a repetition here. In Shastra, repetition is considered a big defect. If you repeat, keep on repeating the same thing again, it is considered as defect. When there is teaching going on, it is considered as a defect. But are these verses for teaching? Or are these verses for contemplating on what you don't know? Iti. These verses are for contemplating on what you already saw. These verses are for contemplating on what you already know, right? They're not for what you don't know. It's for what you've already understood in Shastra. So, if the verses were teaching in third person, right? Saying that Atma is like this, then it would be a defect. But these verses are not for teaching you, because you already know Atma is Nirmala, it is independent iti. You already know Atma is Achala, it is Nishkriya, it is motionless. So these words are repeated for the sake of Nididhyasana. Just like we saw earlier, no? In the case of sunset, we are watching the sunset and we think that the sun is setting, but actually it is not setting. It is just that the horizon is moving up. It looks to us that it is setting, but it's not really setting. So I had told you that contemplate for 41 days when the sun is setting, watch the sunset. And as you're watching the sunset, go over that logic, see the fact that actually it's not the sun is setting, it's the horizon which is moving. And you have to do that for 41 days so that your habitual samskara of thinking that the sun is setting will go away. Iti, it had to be done for 41 days. Iti. So in the same way here, or you remember the lion? The lion had to look at the mirror again and again repeatedly to understand that it is a lion. Iti. So repetition is required. So Nididhyasana requires repetition. So that's why in these verses, you will have repetition. Okay. So let's look again. Okay, in verse number 33, how do I get out? If I say escape, oops, screen sharing stopped. I close the window. Okay. Okay. So let me go, it's faster for me to go to verse 33 like this. Yeah. Let's look at verse number 33. Okay. Those verse number 33 had got nirguno, nishkriyo, all negations. Now, when you keep negating, what is going to happen? Nirguna, Nishkriya, Nitya, Nirvikalpa, Niranjana. You kept on negating. When you negate, keep on negating, something is left. If you say nothing is left, then you will end up in Buddhism. No? You will say there is all non-existence, wo shunya hai aur kuch hai nahi. But the person who is negating is there or not? Somebody is there, no? Who is negating? What is that person is left? He has negated everything from himself. What is left? Consciousness is left. You who are been there negating, you are existing there as a conscious being. Iti. And so what is left is consciousness. Okay. Okay. So you are existing first, and then everything else exists for you, the conscious being. You are there first. That's why I said you don't need a thought to exist. You are there, and in you consciousness, a thought arises, right? So you exist first, and then everything else exists for you. It's very important. You exist, you self-revealing consciousness exists, and then everything else exists for you. So the experience of yourself is constant. It is always already there. So first I am, and then I experience anything else. So this is just for the fun of it. Ask yourself, who is more important? What you experience, because what you experience is the object of your experience, or who you are? What is more important? Usually what happens, we think that the object of experience is more important. Gulab jamun is more important. Eh? Whatever is the object of experience is more important. But really, who is more important? Because unless you are there, can you experience that gulab jamun? Gulab jamun stands for all experiences by which we are fascinated. But you have to be there first. Only then you can experience anything. So, what is more important? What you are experiencing or who you are? So, that is to be understood. First, you are, then you can experience. So, that you exist as a conscious being cannot be negated. I cannot negate the consciousness that I am. Cannot be negated because you are there as the conscious person who is doing the negation. Everything else which is an object of your experience is negatable. But your existence as a conscious being is non-negatable. You simply can't negate it. Eh? So after all the negation which we saw in the previous verse, you look at the last line here. Okay, it is saying something is left here. What remains is that which is non-negatable, and what is non-negatable here is aham, the one who is negating. Go to the first line, aham. Here, this is the aham. Aham akashavat sarvam. So aham is left after doing all the negating. Aham, not ahankara, aham, which is my true nature as unborn, boundaryless, no boundary, consciousness, existence. Okay, so that akashavat sarvam, which is everything. Aham akashavat sarvam. I am everything. In what sense? I am bahir antargataha. I am outside. I am inside. I am antargataha. And when I am saying I now, it is not ahankara. I is referring to consciousness. Aham sarvam. Okay. I am everything. Bahir antargata. I'm all pervasive. Like what? Akashavat. Like space. I am all pervasive like space. Okay. So what happens? Our body is confined in time and space. But consciousness is not confined by time or space. Consciousness has no edge, no boundary. If you think that consciousness or has an edge or boundary, that edge or boundary will be an object. It will become drishyam. But consciousness is not drishyam, it is the drik. It is the one who knows, the one who sees, the one who is, right? And so consciousness, the drik, has got no boundary, it has got no limit, no edge. So it is formless. So that which is formless has got no edge or boundary. Just imagine what Shastra is saying. That I am consciousness that is boundless, that is without boundary, that has got no demarcation. Otherwise, we think that I have a boundary, the skin is the boundary. Iti. So that which has no limit, which is limitless, which is Akashavat, Sarvam, all pervasive like space, Akashavat. Okay, all pervasive like space, Achyutaha, not subject to decay. Okay, that's got no decay in it. What is decaying? Body is decaying. But Atma is unchanging. It is consciousness. And so consciousness being unchanging is not subject to any decay. And then this beautiful word, Sada Sarva Samaha. Sada means always. Sarva Sama. It is always equal in all situations. No matter how bad the situation is or how good the situation is, consciousness is always Sama. Ahankara is not Sama. Consciousness is Sada Sarva. So that which is Sama, undisturbed, Okay? In sarva, in all situations, sada, at all times. And that which is siddha. Siddha meaning that which is totally perfect, you can say, or that which is whole, that which is of the nature of fullness. Iti. So now these words are positive expressions to describe Atma. After all the negation, we have got now some positive words asserting the nature of Atma, that Atma is all pervasive, it is undecaying. Undecaying is actually a negative word. Even all pervasive has a negative side because it indicates free from limit, free from form, free from edge or boundary. So the most positive words here are Sada Sarvasama Siddha. Now, how to use these words in contemplation? Let's take the word Sada Sarvasama, always undisturbed in all situations. Look at that, what a beautiful thing. Always undisturbed in all situations. Now, we all had a very disturbing situation, the pandemic. COVID aa gayi thi. In so many houses, people, were terribly affected by COVID. Many houses, people died. Iti. So, we take the situation of the pandemic in which it killed so many people, which has disturbed all our lives. Your life, my life, okay? Everything's disturbed in the pandemic. So step one of the contemplation is to ask the question, is my true nature as consciousness affected in any way by the problems and difficulties brought about by the pandemic? I'll repeat. Ask myself the question, is my true nature as consciousness affected in any way by all the problems and difficulties brought about by the pandemic? Step two, which we saw, was meditation, dhyana, making the mind quiet for several moments. How do we make the mind quiet? That's a different business. We have to have certain practices. Otherwise, mind will not be, and lot of understanding. Otherwise, mind doesn't become quiet. Eh? Then supposing you manage to get your mind quiet, enjoy that silence. Okay? After that silence goes away, just a few moments are required. Ask yourself that in those moments of silence, was there any experience of the consequences of the pandemic? Did any of the consequences of the pandemic carry over to those moments of silence when my mind was silent? It was totally quiet. Because in those moments of silence, what exists? The mind is totally quiet. All that is left in silence is myself as I am. Iti. I only exist in my true nature, independent of body, mind, world, all external things. And so in those few moments of silence, mind is not available for me to be disturbed. I've discovered that there is a me which is utterly unaffected, okay, by the consequences of the pandemic. So this is the purpose of Nididhyasana. It is to see the truth of oneself, to use the teachings of Vedanta as a word mirror, the word mirror, okay? And to see ourselves through the lens of Vedanta. That means what? See what is my true nature, reflected through the words of Vedanta, and to see that truth again and again and again for the sake of removing the Viparita Bhavana, the habitual wrong identification. That is the purpose of Nididhyasana. And so we have one more verse. Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Shuddha Vimuktaikam Akhandanandam Advayam Satyam Jnanam Anantam Yat param brahmaham tat. So again, aham is there. Here, brahmaham is brahma aham. Okay, brahma eva aham. What am I? Param brahma eva aham. Iti. So param. What is param? Param is the ultimate reality, which is Brahman. What is Brahman? The reality because of which everything exists. Aham param brahma eva. Tat, okay, that param brahma I am. Iti. Okay. Meaning what? I am that supreme reality Brahman. What is that reality? The absolute reality because of which everything exists. So again, the verse is in first person. Notice that it's not saying in third person that Atma is Brahman or Atma happens to be Brahman, which is third person teaching. It is not even saying you are Brahman, Tvam Brahma. It is not even saying that. It is first person saying, I am that Brahma. Aham Brahma eva. Param Brahma eva. Iti. Okay? So I am that ultimate reality known as Brahman. So statements in first person are meant for Nididhyasana. And later we'll see how to use this. So I am that Brahman, the reality of who I am, which is consciousness, Chit Chaitanya, but it is not ordinary consciousness. It is consciousness which is unborn, which is uncreated, which is never decaying, which is untouched, which is without boundary, which is vast, which is all pervasive, which is limitless, which is the essence of my nature and essence of your nature. It is the reality because of which you exist and which is the same reality because of which I exist. So what is being said? There is only one Atma, one all-pervasive consciousness, which is the reality because of which you exist, I exist, the world exists. Okay? Nameless, infinite existence manifest as everything that exists. Just aside, by the way, I met a lady in Rishikesh and she told me that her guru teaches people 5 points that they must remember and practice. Okay, I stop the share because I like looking at your. So there are 5 points that they must remember and practice. One is I am Avinashi Atma, separate from the body. This body is only a packing, and inside is Avinashi Atma. Okay. So whatever happens is because of scientific reasons. Okay. And therefore have samabhava towards all situations. The person in front of you, that body is only a packing. Inside is Avinashi Atma. Okay? And the fifth point was always keep in touch with satsang in any form. She sincerely practices it. Doesn't understand it too well, but she practices कि वो हमेशा बोलेगी कि मैं तो अविनाशी आत्मा हूँ, मैं ये देह नहीं हूँ, मैं तो अविनाशी आत्मा हूँ, मैं ये देह नहीं हूँ, मैं तो अविनाशी आत्मा हूँ, मैं तो ये देह नहीं हूँ, वो भी अविनाशी आत्मा है, वो भी देह नहीं है, वो भी अविनाशी आत्मा है, वो भी देह नहीं है. ठीक है? ऐसे वो प्रैक्टिस करती है. And so she tries to keep samabhavana because all situations are because of scientific reasons. So I pointed out to her that instead of saying scientific reasons, why don't you say it is Ishvara's order? Because when we bring in Ishvara, scientific reason is correct. What she means is there is a niyati. There is a cause of law and effect is taking place in the whole universe. And so there is a niyati, cause and effect laws are there. But we want to bring in Ishvara because Ishvara means Chaitanya, iti. Rest of us, as far as we are concerned, is all inert. There has to be Ishvara there. It is Ishvara's order. And then, when I was pointing out to her that Atma is all pervasive, she thought, nahi, there are many Atmas. I am Avinashi Atma, you are Avinashi Atma, he is Avinashi Atma, she is all are Avinashi Atma. There are many Atmas. And these Atmas are all free of the body. I say, what is the difference? If it is free of the body mind, then where is the difference? Avinashi Atma has to be one only. It can be only one. So when it was pointed out that Avinashi Atma is all pervasive, it is one. In everybody, it is the same Atma. There is no difference in that consciousness. So gave her the example, like the movie screen and the movie. How in the movie screen, there is a movie which is being projected, and everything in that movie which is projected, the hero is also the screen, the heroine is also the changeless screen, the trees which are there they are going around a tree, so the tree around which they are going, that is also the changeless screen. And there is beautiful river flowing over there, that is also the changeless screen. Everywhere it is the same changeless screen, completely, pervading that entire scene of that movie. Iti told her that, like in the wave ocean, ocean is water, wave is water, it is all nothing but one water. So she was so amazed and thrilled. She said, oh my God, I never knew. I thought all these are, each one is a different Avinashi Atma. So Vedanta is pointing out that there is only one reality, Brahman, consciousness, which is manifest as the consciousness in you, manifest as the consciousness me, manifest as the entire universe. And that is explained in the second line. Yeah. Okay. Tat, that Yat Param Brahma, that Brahman is the reality because of which everything exists. And what is it? It is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Okay. This is from Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So the three words, these indicate the nature of Brahman. Brahman is Satyam. It is the reality. It is Jnanam. It is consciousness. And it is Anantam. It is limitless. It is infinite. And so a lot of time is spent, explaining each of these words. And Satyam means the underlying reality because of which everything exists. The underlying stuff, what they call as the substratum or the material cause, the nameless fabric of existence in which everything is woven, the underlying fabric of existence, that which gives existence to everything. Remember, Puja Swamiji, what will he say? He will say the cloth is, you know, the cloth is. Now, the isness of the cloth, what is that? The isness of the cloth is Brahman, right? This bottle is, the isness of the bottle is Brahman. The room in which you're sitting is, the isness of the room is Brahman. The hand is, right? The isness of the hand is Brahman, which means that the very essence of everything, existence itself, pure existence is Brahman. It is the fabric of all existence, the reality because of which everything exists. Now, we can't deny that the universe is intelligent. Intelligence rests in a conscious being. And so the word jnanam comes here. Jnanam, usually we'll say, is knowledge. But here it doesn't mean knowledge. Here it means consciousness. Okay, Satyam Jnanam. So Satyam is the fabric of existence because of which the universe appears before us. Consciousness is the consciousness manifest in your mind, in my mind. Satyam, the reality because of which everything exists, is not different from Jnanam. These are not referring to two different things. Existence is consciousness. Iti. So the reality because of which everything exists is not an inert reality. It is not a dumb reality. It is a conscious fabric of existence. Whole existence is shimmering with consciousness. Okay, so Satyam, Jnanam, and it is Anantam. It is limitless. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. The limitless conscious fabric of existence, because of which you exist, because of which I exist, because of which anything and everything exists. Yat param brahma aham eva tat. I am that Brahman, which is the limitless conscious fabric of existence, which is ekam. Okay? Ekam, akhandam, anandam, advayam. So ekam. Ekam means one underlying fabric of existence. And what is it? It is nitya shuddha. Is that which is always pure. Nitya shuddha. That which is always pure. Okay? Never tainted or affected by anything, by all the nonsense, Third World War may be imminent, not affected by that. It is nitya vimuktaha. It is always free, doesn't have to become free, ever free, does not require moksha. Then who requires moksha? Who requires Vedanta? Atma doesn't require Vedanta. Ahankara needs. Ahankara needs Vedanta. Okay? When you don't know our true self to be this Brahman, then we need Vedanta. Okay. And so Brahman is Akhandam, Anandam, Advayam. Advayam means non-dual. Now Ekam is also there. Both are referring to one. But here, if you have the word Ekam, then it is usually one is followed by 2, 3, 4, 5. And therefore you have the word here Advayam, saying non-dual, there is no two. There is only one. Iti. Okay, not followed by a second. Means Advayam. So there's nothing in addition to Brahman. So Brahman is not only Ekam, Brahman is Advayam. It alone exists. And that Brahman is Akhandam, that in which there is no division, no khanda, no division. Okay? And it is Anandam. Anandam does not refer to experience of happiness. It is describing Brahman as the reality because of which universe is existing. And Anandam here only means fullness, whole. Brahman is not in bits and pieces, it is partless whole, akhandam, in everything complete, total, purnam, iti. Okay? So Anandam here is referring to purnam, that which is purnam, fullness, completeness, wholeness, limitlessness, can even call it perfection, iti. Akhandam is partless, undivided. Okay. So again, it is meant for contemplation, same thing. You need a few moments of silence. That's the important thing. We all need that few moments of silence, And in that moment of silence, after the moment of silence, you use all these words and recognize that, oh my God, yes, this is true. I am that consciousness which is akhandam, which is advitiyam, which is ekam, iti. So those few moments of silence give us an opportunity to confirm what Shastra is saying. So we see ourselves without the experience of the body and mind. Okay? It's gone in that moment of silence. And what remains in that moment of silence is only you as you are. The illuminating the absence of all experience. So point is the experience of having a body and mind. If there is knowledge, there is no problem. We can enjoy that experience of having a body and mind. But if we don't have the knowledge, then it leads us to wrong conclusion, and the wrong conclusion leads us to suffering. Iti. Right? Okay, so I'm rushing through now. So when the moments of silence come to an end, contemplate. Okay? See the truth of all these words. That at that moment, that consciousness was exactly like this. Iti. After so you will reflect on all these words: Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Nityam, Nitya Shuddha, Vimukta, Ekam, Akhandam, Advitiyam, Anandam, iti. So now you can see how important it is to command the mind that can be silent just for a few moments. I'm not saying that, we have to be like great yogis. Neither I am a great yogi, who can be silent for hours and hours and hours. No. But that commanding that mind, therefore, the practice of japa dhyanam comes in very useful. Supposing you say, no, I only need the example of, deep sleep. In deep sleep also, the mind is totally silent. I can use that. But it's not in your waking state, no? In your waking state, when you enjoy that moment of silence, is a different experience, iti. So that's why the practice of japa dhyanam, a practice like that, which can help you to get those few moments of silence, is very, very useful. And to be able to do japa dhyanam, what do we need? We need a mind that is not restless. For a mind that is not restless, we need a lot of acceptance of life as it is. We need to have so many attitudes which I mentioned in Karma Yoga. We need to have them in place in understanding that the body mind in our lives is given by Ishvara. It is our instrument. It is not me. I am a trustee for this body mind. If we are anxious about anything, our mind is not going to be quiet. So it's important to understand how our psyche works. What are our beliefs about life that are contributing to our anxiety and our restlessness? How do we let go of those beliefs? Because Shastra is giving us more realistic ones. So we need to address the practical issues of life. Supposing you're married, and all of you are married, you're senior citizens, and many of you are, okay? Then there can be a lot of anxiety about health, about financial stability. Health, health is, healthcare has become so expensive. Luckily, most of you are in ONGC. That problem is not there. You can become worried about becoming dependent on children, losing spouse. So many things are there. So our attitudes to all these practical issues of life is important. We hide and, we put everything under the carpet. And when we put it under the carpet in meditation only, it will come up. So putting under the carpet is not very useful. For the time being, you get some escape from your worry, but then you can't sit for meditation, because in meditation, that only will come up. Iti. So lot of attitude, having a lot of, attitudes which are helpful for japa dhyanam is very, very important. So it is a whole package, this whole Shastra study we are releasing ahankara from its habitual, its habitual thinking. It's a whole package, okay? So that's why understanding of Ishvara is so important. Relating to Ishvara, understanding Ishvara, relating to Ishvara, knowing Ishvara as karma phala data, and yet one who is compassionate, one who listens to our prayers, one in whom we can let our worries rest, at least for the time being. All this is very important. And all this is our sadhana. And nobody can do the sadhana except each person. I can keep talking, but I can't do the sadhana for you. You yourself have to do it. I have to do it for myself. No, each of us has to do our own sadhana. So anyway, coming back, it is in moments of silence in the waking state that gives us an opportunity to confirm what we have known through the teachings of Vedanta. Vedanta says you are Brahman. You will have Viparita Bhavana. No, I am this body. So we use those moments of silence, okay? Because we have an opportunity to see that experience that, yes, I do exist, even when this mind is quiet, iti. Okay, so like that, it's very important to understand. Now, supposing in that moment of silence, okay, you understood, you alone exist, your true nature. After that moment of silence has passed and we reflected on our nature, we are saying, okay, but it's very important to recognize that what we are talking about is my swarupa, it's my nature. And what is nature? Nature is that which never goes away. This is something you should cognitively know. Nature is that which does not go away, like heat in the fire does not go away. Fire is fire because of heat. Okay, that is its nature. It cannot go away. So what we are talking about is, we are talking about our nature, that which never goes away. Now, after the silence, your mind gets active again. Ask yourself, does the activity of your mind affect your nature as Satyam, Vimuktaha, Akhandam, Advayam, Anandam? It cannot. This is to be understood. Why? Therefore, Vedanta Shravanam is required, because consciousness that you are is Satyam, and the mind and its activities is all Mithya. Okay, so with that, we'll just finish with just reading the verse again, and we are done. Nitya Shuddham, Nitya Shuddha Vimuktaikam, Akhandanandam Advayam, Satyam Jnanamanantam Yat, Param Brahmaham Tat. This, okay, with that, we can finish. I didn't have time to break it up so that you can see it is Nitya Shuddha, Vimukta, Ekam, Akhandam, Anandam, Advayam, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Okay, so I didn't have time to do that. But anyway, so with that, we meet. And today I didn't have time for question answer either, because I felt we missed so much, no? I mean, we have been having so many gaps. So let me do these two verses. So you can, if you have questions, you can put it to me in the chat on WhatsApp, and I will do a voice, I'll give a voice, this thing on it, voice message on that. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Anju is here, eh? She must have got a shock, Okay. Om Hari Om. That's it. We will meet soon for it is 6:21, and after this Gangor Vedant class, what you all tell me, what time should we meet?
I think we can make it 6:40.
Yeah,
सोचा
okay.
बहुत लोग यहाँ कम लोग हैं जो 640 वाले होंगे, बहुत लोग हैं जो नहीं आएंगे.
Oh, अच्छा, तो 6:30 रखेंगे. So, Sonia uncle, you join at 6:40.
No, I will join at 6:30.
Because no, 6:40. I'm telling you, people will join only by 6:40. I am seeing every day I come at 6:30. It's not before 6:35 or 6:37 that we start.
No, it's okay.
Because people are coming slowly, and then we are saying hello, hi, everything. Huh?
So, I will do also hello, hi. You see.
Okay. We'll meet again at 6:30. Okay. Om Hari Om.